Hi, my name is Siobhan and welcome to my channel. So this is going to be my July TBR and here are the books. I have 7 books in total. I'm trying to also do a thumbnail because I took some photos before, but yeah, so I'm gonna try and do a thumbnail. So these 3 books were in my TBR for last month, but I didn't get to finish them, so they're in my TBR again for this month. So I have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Colder Night, Faster Walls by Meg Long, which I just finished, and I gave this a 3 stars on Goodreads. So this is the first book I've read I finished reading this month so far. And then The Reset, Ideas to Change How We Work and Live by Elizabeth Uviebinené. And this is my only non-fiction book in this TBR. So as I said, I finished Colder Night, Faster Walls already, and I'm currently reading these 2 books. I'm trying to get these books finished before I start other books. So I'm kind of halfway in this book, and this book I'm still a few chapters in. So just talking briefly about the book. So this book, Colder Night, Faster Wolves, is a fantasy book, and this is my first fantasy read since I started reading again. I'm trying to think if I was younger. Only fantasy book I've read was probably Harry Potter, but that was only the first book and only a couple chapters in, because I was 7 when I read that book, and I thought that was a lot of how to explain it, maybe a huge step from reading more so books with pictures in it, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I think besides that, this is my first proper fantasy read, and I quite liked it. So, and there's also gonna be, I think, a second book with one of the characters in this book, which I am going to pick up, which is going to be released next year. So, and also I'm going to have a July-June wrap-up as well, where I go more into detail with the books. But yeah, and I'm not sure what other fantasy book I would read next. Oh, why did my voice do that? Yes, I'm not sure what kind of fantasy book I'm going to read next. I don't know, but I'm going to look on Goodreads and probably on people's reviews and stuff on fantasy books. But for my first fantasy book, this overall I liked it, and I'll probably look into reading other fantasy books. So usually my main at the moment genre of books is romance. So I think most of the books that I have at the moment are romance, but I am looking into reading other genres of books as well. Yeah, so Pride and Prejudice, from the synopsis and blurb, Mrs. Bennet, she is looking for a perfect match for a partner for each of her daughters, which is 5, I believe. Yeah, 5 daughters. So I'm only in what chapter am I? Chapter 7. And I found an audio on YouTube, and I what's it called? The voice, what's it called? Basically, I like the audio of this book, so I'll probably listen to the audio whilst reading this book at the same time. But hopefully with these 2 books, I can finish them by the end of this week. And also I'm trying to get into reading more classics, because in school I read We Done Holes, Much Ado About Nothing, and I can't remember what else we did, but we didn't do like Pride and Prejudice and To Kill a Mockingbird. So yeah, which I read To Kill a Mockingbird last month. And then with the reset is, as I said earlier, is non-fiction. And also, sorry about my fan. We're currently like in a heat wave in the UK, so yeah. So sorry about that. I tried filming before without the fan, but I got too hot, so yeah. And back to the reset. So this is like discussions about, I guess, working habits, and also like a shift since, you know, the pandemic in 2020, and the shift in like people's kind of how to explain it, basically people's views on like work and like their life in general. Because like with the pandemic, you know, when we're in lockdown, people got more like time, kind of more like free spare time, and then found other hobbies and kind of like new kind of routines that they wouldn't have done like if they were still at work. So for example, can't remember the person's name, but they were saying that in the morning they have like more time to themselves than usually if they were going to work. They would probably, you know, be like getting ready to go out and probably like on public transport and stuff, but then they have like more so time to themselves in the morning, if that makes any sense. So this is like fine so far as well. And yeah, so again, I'll have my reviews and stuff at the end of this month. Okay, so on to the other 4 books. So I started to read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. So I started to read this probably Friday, and I want to finish this by Wednesday because I'm filming like a separate video reading this book and also for TikTok. And I'm so far like on chapter 9, and so far I find it, if that makes any sense. So far it's okay so far, and I know it has like mixed reviews. I read It Ends With Us, I read that book in April, and overall I found that book okay. I thought I wasn't gonna like it really as much, but overall I found it okay. There was like parts of that book that I liked. So this one, I don't know if I'll have like a similar kind of, I don't know, feel a similar way about this book with that one, or I don't know. So I'm going into this book blind as well. So yeah, so far yeah, so it's fine so far. I'm not gonna like have like any like spoilers too much, because I'm at the moment like I'm trying to not, when I talk about explain books, to not spoil it. But I was trying to think of what I could say, like my thoughts, as in more so my thoughts about this book, but then I'll be kind of spoiling it. But so far it seems like so the 2 like characters, Tate and Miles, so far that her like chapters are longer than Miles's chapters at the moment, and also his, I wasn't expecting his one to kind of, what's the word, so like her chapters are like the present and his is in the past. So yeah, so it's a dual, is that how you say the word, dual so like you have like both of their POVs. With like romance books, or I don't know, I kind of don't mind either, both like having both points of view or just one. I don't know, I think it maybe depends maybe, but I like in a way both, because I like to know what both characters are thinking, but then again it kind of, without knowing the other person's thoughts, kind of makes you wonder and stuff. So you kind of have to guess what they're feeling and stuff, because you're not reading in their like POV, if that makes any sense. So next I have Malibu, 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 Malibu I have the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I haven't read it yet. My sister picked this book out for me, like, to read for my TBR. So this one, I'm assuming from the blurb synopsis, there's like obviously secrets revealed, and maybe like from the blurb, like who set the mansion river, is it river? Mansion like in flames and stuff, and then yeah, then there's like secrets and stuff. So yeah, so I feel like this book would be, yes, I feel like this book would be quite interesting to read. So I don't know if I'll read this maybe after Ugly Love or once I finish the other two books, but yeah, Malibu Rising. Yeah, so the next book is Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson, and this book was in my like Amazon save for later for like over a year, and I finally got it last month. So our main character is Nala, and the love interest is Ty, and Ty, is that the name? Yeah, Ty. So he is an activist, and Nala, she's not. She would rather, you know, watch the movies and try new ice cream flavors. So to impress Ty, she lies. So, you know, to impress him. And then when they spend more time together, it's hard, you know, to keep the lies, because, you know, she feels guilty for lying to him. So I'm quite interested to see how it all plays out, and how would he react to the lies and stuff. So yeah, to see his reaction about it, and maybe would she kind of become more like Ty? Would she, I don't know, not lie anymore, and then maybe she, I don't know how to explain it. Would she kind of how to word it? Would she not necessarily like become an activist, but maybe like, I don't know how to word it. It's like my mind's gone blank. But like the stuff she's lying about, would she like eventually believe what she's saying, as in like she agrees with it, then like, you know, lying about it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I might actually read this book maybe after those two other books, because I feel like this will be like a quick read as well. And yeah, but also I want to like read like more like black romances, because I have like a few, I'm trying to think in like in my head. Maybe like 2 or 3, so I'm trying to like get more like black romances. And as I said like before, did I say it? I've like started reading again like more properly like last year. So I'm still like trying to figure out what I like and don't like in books, like genres or like tropes and stuff, types, like different types of writing styles and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so I want to like get more like black romances. I also want to get like a series. The next kind of books that I get when in a book haul, I want to get like a series, but I'm not sure on what type of series. I was thinking of the Hunger Games, since there's gonna be like a new like movie out next year, I believe. So I was thinking the Hunger Games, because I never read the book, I just saw the movie. The only kind of book, what's it called? Like kind of book set that I read and seen the films was like the Maze Runner. But with the Maze Runner, I read the first book and then I saw the movie, and I didn't like that certain things in the Maze Runner, that the first book wasn't in the movie. It wasn't like a bad movie, but it would have been nice to see some of the things like the telepathy that spoiling it? I don't know. Anyways, so I kind of since then would prefer to watch the movie than read the books. So yeah, I'm just either The Hunger Games or like another like series to read. So lastly, it's like I forgot what I was going to say. So lastly, The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. So this book was released earlier this year, I think like in February or March. So our main character, Ray, so Ray, the main character, so the violin gets stolen, and then this violin is like within like the family, so it's like generations. I think it was maybe like 3 generations. Great granddad, that's 4. Yeah, so it's his great granddad's violin, so it's been passed down like through the generations, and it gets taken away. And the person from the synopsis says that it was once the person that took it was the person who once enslaved his great granddad, claiming how it was their violin, and then his great granddad, or the family's violin, saying how Ray's granddad, great granddad, took the violin, so they're claiming it to be theirs. So it's like a thriller, because you already kind of know who took the thing, so would it be like a mystery really, would it? So more so like a thriller. And yeah, so this is my first, no, maybe I think it I have like another book, but I think that's like thriller mystery, and this was more so thriller. Yeah, so I'm can I speak? So I'm quite interested to read this book as well. When I first was going to buy it, it was like, I think out of stock on Amazon, I think. Then when I saw it, then when it's available again, I just bought it. So yeah, I'm quite excited to read this book. I think out of the books in my TBR, I think I'll like these 2 the most. I'm hoping, but I think I will. Malibu Rising, probably, it could be one that I would like, but I'm not too sure, because I think this Malibu Rising has like mixed reviews. Ugly Love, I'm not too sure. And then we're Pride and Prejudice and The Reset. With this book, I'm not too sure either. I think I probably will like it since it's like romance. And then with The Reset, I don't know like how I would rate it so far, because it's a non-fiction book, and I'm like more into now like fiction books. I had like a phase when I was like 16-17 of reading just non-fiction books like The Secret and them sort of like self-help books. I don't know, when I like saw the Secret for the first time, I thought it was like, I don't know, it just seemed like simple when you're watching it. Like, you think of certain things and it becomes reality. Like, I just thought it was simple. That's what I liked about it. But then when I did get more into like law of attraction and like positive thinking, and then when I watch videos on YouTube, people have certain steps to do stuff, and some of it can it can be simple and a bit like time consuming is like the right word for it. Yeah, so I think that kind of got me into a slump of reading after when I kind of stopped reading like those books. and I don't know why, but I didn't think of fiction, like, because I used to love reading when I was younger, like Jacqueline Wilson books. I would have like her books. I used to collect her magazines, and when I got older I stopped and I started with non-fiction books. Then after that I kind of stopped again, and now I'm reading books again, but now I'm more so into fiction books. But I don't know, maybe because with non-fiction books I kind of feel like maybe I don't find it like beneficial to me or helpful to me. I don't know like why exactly, but maybe it's just like my way of thinking. It doesn't really like align with those books. I don't know, but I got this books maybe sometime last year, but I wouldn't mind picking up a non-fiction book. It just depends what it is and who it's written by, because with Elizabeth Uribenet, hopefully I pronounced her last name right, she co-wrote, or the co-author of Slay in Your Lane, which I have and I liked, but I'm going to reread that book again because I don't remember much about that book. My memory is not the best. So with that book, I did remember liking it, but I just don't remember like a lot of that book, maybe like bits of that book. So yeah, so with non-fiction, just depends on the author and what it's about, and yeah, so that is it for my July TBR. I'm holding up these books again and my hand is hurting. Yeah, so that's it for, as I said, my July TBR. Hopefully I'm able to finish these books. I feel, I don't know, have like a little bit of hope, and hopefully I'm a bit closer to reaching my reading goal on Goodreads, which is 72 books, because 6 times 12 is 72, right? So that's like my goal, like at least each month will be like read at least 6 books, so that's like 72 books. So I thought to do that as my goal, and I'm currently like 16 books behind, so hopefully I'm able just to, you know, get more closer with the books target, to be on track with my book goal. That makes any sense. So yeah, so that is it for this video. I do hope that I do read all the books on my TBR. I feel like I'll have like a good reading month this month. And yeah, so I will see you in my next video.